Welcome to a very special edition of Globe Watch, aired today from the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission of Nigeria, headquartered here in Abuja, which doubles as the capital of the Federal Capital Territory and at the same time as the capital of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, nearing 200 million people. Disappointed, a setback to democracy, one more chance. A select of reactions on how the world consumed the decision by the Federal National Electoral Commission to postpone elections from last February 14 to this March 28. One of Nigeria's best cultural experts, Wole Soyinka, has qualified the decision forwarding the election and the ongoing security situation in the country as a continuation of Nigerian cycle of violence. With just few days to Nigeria's general elections 2015, will Nigerians finally go on the polls on March 28 to choose their new president? And if that does not happen, how should the world consume it and how should it be interpreted? My guest today is the person responsible for pronouncing the words which will determine the new president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by May 29. He is the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Muhammadu ATTAHIRU JEGA. Professor Muhammadu ATTAHIRU JEGA, welcome to Globe Watch.
Thank you very much for having me on your program.
Let me start with a very pinching and an inching question to our global audience. Nigerians will finally go to the polls on March 28 to choose the next president and other federally elected executive and legislative officials.
God willing, Nigerians will go to the polls on March 28th for the presidential and the National Assembly elections, and then on April 11th for the governorship and state assembly elections.
When you say God willing, you promised Nigerians just during the state council's meeting that elections are going to take place normally. But immediately after that, you shocked the international media by telling them that, you see, guys, we cannot hold elections. It will be on March 28. Who should join you in this newfound optimism?
Well, I am sure that you did not get the information correct, because I told the National Council of State that we were prepared to conduct the elections as scheduled, but we had received a strong advice from the security agencies that they could not guarantee security for the election. And I said that had posed a challenge that needed to be addressed. And the National Council of State advised us to go and make broader consultations and decide on whether we will take the advice of the security chiefs or not. And we made broad consultations, and we took the advice of the security chiefs to reschedule the elections. So I did not tell the National Council of State that elections were going to hold, because I told them very categorically that there was a challenge at the time I appeared before them.
Do you think that the security equation on Boko Haram as presented to the election management body, you have sweeping powers to manage elections in Nigeria according to the 2010 Electoral Act. Do you think that the considerations provided by National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki, went on BBC, CNN, and even at Chatham House, were solid enough to push forward the elections?
It was not what the National Security Advisor said at Chatham House or on BBC that eventually led to the decision.
He said that he had advised you to push forward the elections on the basis that about 50% of the Nigerian military had been deployed in Boko Haram affected areas, so the guarantee of the polls could not be assured.
No, the National Security Advisor did not say what you just said at Chatham House and in BBC. What he said was that given the low distribution of the permanent voters' cards, he would advise INEC not to proceed with the elections.
But he said that 50% of the Nigerian military had been deployed to tackle the Boko Haram insurgency, and that on that basis, elections could not hold. And he added that at least 30 million Nigerians at the time had not received their voters' cards.
Well, and in any case, what made the Independent National Electoral Commission to postpone or reschedule the elections was a letter we received, which was almost a week after the National Security Advisor was said to have said what you just said.
You received a letter from
Yes,
who?
I received a letter from the National Security Advisor conveying another letter with the advice from the service chiefs signed by the Chief of Defense Staff, conveying this very strong advice of the armed forces.
General Alex Bade.
Yes, he is currently the Chief of Defense Staff, so he signed the letter. And they recommended very strongly, one, that they are trying to seize an opportunity to address the insurgency in the northeast, and that while they are doing that, elections could not take place in the 4 states in the northeast because there will be a military operation, and you could not conduct an election under a military operation. But that most significantly, that the normal traditional support that the army provides to the police during elections, they would not be able to provide it because all their attention will be concentrated in the military operation in the 4 northeast states.
Okay.
So the point I'm making
Absolutely.
is that it's important to separate what the National Security Advisor said in Chatham House and BBC from what was the actual reason that made the commission to do consultations and to eventually postpone or reschedule the elections.
Professor ATTAHIRU, Nigeria counts nearly 200 million people today. About 70 million Nigerians are eligible to vote according to the law as from the age of 18. There are 14 candidates vying for president. You have about 739 candidates contesting for the 109 Senate House, and you have about 1,780 candidates contesting for the 360 House of Representatives. Where are we with the logistics of such a huge electoral operation?
As you are no doubt aware, Nigeria is a large country, and certainly we have over 170 million people, and as you rightly pointed out, we have about 70 million people who have been registered for this election. Exactly 68.8 million registered voters. So it's a very large, and preparations for elections in a country the size of Nigeria is very challenging and complex. But I can tell you confidently as I speak with you now that we are adequately prepared to conduct the elections on the 28th of March and on the 8th of April. And we've taken on board all the preparations that needed to be done operationally, logistically, in order to make the elections free, fair, credible, and also peaceful. And we've been working very closely with a range of stakeholders so that our work together can deliver the most credible election in the history of our country.
You just said that you want to hold a very credible election, better than the one in 2011, which had significant improvements when you look at the electoral history of Nigeria. Initially, statistics I have indicate to me that there will be about 360,000 police officers deployed across Nigeria to safeguard the vote. What extra measures are you taking?
Well, we have been engaging communities, traditional rulers, religious leaders, community leaders, to sensitize them on the need for people to not only register but to come out and vote, but most significantly to also conduct themselves peacefully on election day. The police will be deployed and they will be supported by a range of paramilitary personnel. But what is most important is for people to conduct themselves with civility and to participate in the electoral process peacefully, so that there will be no need for police to enforce law and order.
One way of handling or having or conducting a free and fair election will be making sure that electoral material reach the entire nation. The current information I have tells me that there are about 150,000 polling stations in this country. That is a plus of over 30,027 polling stations as compared to 2011. Can you assure not only Nigerians but the rest of the world that before March 28, the voters' cards, the readers' cards, everything concerning the election, that the material will reach all the polling stations and no candidate will complain?
Yes, I would like to say that we in INEC feel confident that long before March 28th, all issues of logistics, of deployment, of training would have been sorted out such that we do not anticipate any complaint from anybody with regards to the question of disenfranchisement. As I speak with you, all our election materials have been produced and have been decentralized and distributed. What will remain is to be able to take them to the polling units on the eve of the election for the conduct of the election. We have close to 120,000 polling units, but the size ranges.
Why did you close them?
Close what?
You just said that you have closed 100.
No. I say we have close to, we have near.
Okay.
We have almost 120,000. I can be more specific. We have 119,723 polling units. Okay. So it's just a few less than 120,000.
Let's speak.
But
let's speak one controversial issue in this entire electoral process is the distribution of PVCs and the new technology which you want to introduce, the voters' readers, the reader card, which according to INEC is to slash down rigging, or if you like, fraud in elections. Why are these two elements so controversial?
They are probably controversial because some people are not happy that we want to eliminate rigging in the electoral process.
Who are those people who are not happy?
I don't know, but many of the people opposed to the use of the card reader and the PVC.
Are there political parties opposed to this idea?
There are political parties. There are.
Is the PDP or President Goodluck Jonathan part of this opposition?
I have no information with regards to this specific question. But I know that some members of PDP have come out and publicly said they are opposed to it, as many other members of other parties have come out and said so. So the point I'm making is that in the Nigerian political process, there are parties, there are candidates, there are other voters and so on who do not want the PVC to be used, who do not want card readers to be used. They have different reasons for not wanting them to be used. Some of them, maybe because it's new technology and they are not sure about the technology, they are concerned. But I'm telling you, from my personal assessment, many of them who do not want the PVC to be used or do not want the card reader to be used, do not want them to be used because they know they are going to eliminate rigging, which some of them probably do not want to give up at this point in time.
Okay, Professor ATTAHIRU, you are very aware that the political climate in Nigeria today is very tense. The court has just ordered you to recognize a political party in the course of an election, and they say that ATTAHIRU Muhammadu JEGA, either you reprint the ballot papers or you postponed the elections again in order to accommodate all. So I'm talking about the Young Democratic Party here. What will you do?
First of all, we have not seen the court judgment as I speak with you, but from information available to us, the court did not say we should reprint ballot papers.
No, this is not the decision of the court. This is the decision of the political party saying that ATTAHIRU JEGA has just two options.
Yes,
either he accommodates us or he postpones the elections.
ATTAHIRU JEGA is not the Independent National Electoral Commission. The commission consists of 12 national commissioners plus the chairman. So it's wrong to make it personal. That's one.
But they see you as the public image of that institution.
But secondly, the most important issue is that you must make a difference between whether a group qualifies to be a political party and whether they have met the requirements of being on the ballot. The fact that you are recognized as a political party does not give you automatic rights to be on the ballot. There are rules and procedures and guidelines which you must qualify, which you must comply with before you are able to get on the ballot. So people are conflating issues. First and foremost, this is a judgment of a federal high court. We have to see the judgment to determine whether we are satisfied with the judgment or not. If we are not satisfied with the judgment, we can appeal this judgment. So we are not yet at a point when people can become apprehensive that a court judgment will upset the preparations for the election. So I want to assure you that we need to see that judgment. We believe we have treated that party fairly, and we did not register them because we believe that from information available to us, they were not registrable.
Professor JEGA, yourself, you are under huge criticisms. Four political parties came on with a list and said that we think that Muhammadu ATTAHIRU JEGA should resign, should leave office because he has shown enough evidence that he lacks professionalism, that he cannot deliver a free and fair elections. Why do you think that people criticize you? Or in other words, why have you become so controversial? You are one of the best legal minds in Nigeria.
First of all, I happened to be the chairman when the 2011 elections were conducted, and everybody was happy, and nobody accused me of partisanship or anything.
Why have you subsequently become so controversial? Because in
it's
2011,
a good question.
everybody congratulated
I think you should be asking those people who are raising these issues. You know, because I keep asking myself, what did I do differently from what I have done in 2011 as ATTAHIRU JEGA? But remember, it's also wrong to isolate ATTAHIRU JEGA and speak of him as if he is the commission. ATTAHIRU JEGA is not the independent
because
national
one of the arguments they
commission.
put forward is that in less than 3 months from now, you will be going on retirement. And they are telling President Goodluck Jonathan, you see, it's just a matter of a few months. Please take him out and bring somebody new.
I will advise that after this interview with me, you interview those parties to tell you.
Well, I will try my best to reach to the other Nigerian politicians.
On a serious note.
Yeah.
On a serious note, I have taken my job with the seriousness that it deserves. I have not given anybody any reason to question my integrity or my impartiality as the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. But people have the right to make partisan interpretations and to regrettably make all sorts of allegations. You know, if I feel dissatisfied with particular allegations, I have the right to, if I am labeled, to go to court and to seek for a redress on that. But I will not be distracted. You know, I have a job to do. The commission has a job to do. So myself as chairman and all the national commissioners are focused on doing this job. And this job is to deliver free, fair, credible and peaceful elections on March 28th and on April 11th. And our tenure will end on 30th of March, actually 29th of March. It's not only the, of June.
On June.
Sorry, 29th of June. And it is not only the tenure of the chairman that will be ending on the 29th of June. About 8 commissioners will also have their tenure ending. You know, so if people are saying I should proceed on, what do you call it, leave.
Terminal leave.
Yeah, you know, are they saying all the commissioners should leave? Those people who are saying that probably don't want an election to take place.
A majority, some of your citizens of voting age are displaced people externally. Part of them are in Cameroon, some of them are in Chad, some of them are in Niger. Those people who have moved out of their normal homes because of the Boko Haram insurgency and other displaced people, would they have a chance of voting?
Those who have been displaced because of the Boko Haram insurgency and who still remain in the 3 states of Borno, Yobe and the Adamawa states, we have made adequate arrangements to ensure that if they so choose, they can participate in the election. Regrettably, those who have gone out of Nigeria to other countries, we have no capacity, given the limited time and resources we have, to be able to arrange for them to participate in the 2015 general elections. What we will be doing, which is for the first time in the history of Nigeria's election, is to accommodate internally displaced persons within these states. And the template we are using, we believe, is something we can use beyond these elections, so that in future we may be able to organize, to arrange for as many more displaced persons as possible to participate. But as of now, only displaced persons who are still within Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states would be able to participate in the electoral process.
When you are announcing the postponement of the elections, if my memory does not fail me, I understand that you use the expression that there are many variables that can come into play in the postponement of an election. In reality, the Constitution says that there should be cogent and verified reasons for the postponement of an election within the constitutional limits. Do you foresee any other variable that can lead to the forwarding of the elections again?
As far as we are concerned, we are committed and resolute and focused on conducting elections on March 28th and April 11th. When we rescheduled the elections from February to March 28th and April 11th, we did so because there were cogent and verifiable reasons, security reasons, why we had to do that.
Professor Muhammadu ATTAHIRU JEGA, in about 30 seconds, tell me how many international observers have you accredited to monitor these elections?
Internationally, we have close to 100 groups that have applied, that we have accredited. Yes.
Okay. After the cancellation of or the forwarding of the election dates, you went to the Senate to explain, because Nigeria functions like the United States of America. And I understand that in that Senate hearing, you told Nigerian senators that forwarding the Nigerian elections again will be unconstitutional. Is that correct?
It's correct. We do not see any scope for another postponement of the election.
Professor Muhammadu, you are very much aware that the Nigerian Constitution states, if I understand the spirit of Article 26 of the Electoral Act, Article 25, if I understand the spirit of Article 134 of the Nigerian Constitution and 132 of the Nigerian Constitution, for you to hold elections in Nigeria, you need it should be held not more than 150 days before time, and it should not take place later than 30 days, which means that constitutionally you can still forward elections right up to April 28th.
What I am saying is that we as a commission do not see any scope for another extension.
But constitutionally, you know that you can extend elections up to April 28th again. Is it true or false?
Theoretically, you can, yes.
Okay.
But is that what you want? For
it's
the
a question I
elections to
ask.
be postponed?
No, I just want us to establish a constitutional basis that if elections are postponed again, it is constitutional.
By our constitution, elections can hold up to the 29th of April.
Finally, you will be the person to pronounce who becomes the next president of Nigeria. If I understand, the next president of Nigeria should take office by May 29. You have huge responsibilities. Are you under pressure?
Well, I have a job to do, and I'm prepared to do it to the best of my ability, and I'm under no pressure with regards to discharging my responsibility as a returning officer for the national elections.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Muhammadu ATTAHIRU JEGA, thanks very much for accepting to be guest on Globe Watch from Cameroon Television.
Thank you so very much.
And thank you very much for receiving us in your office in Abuja.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate this opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.